Hey, you guys, welcome back to the channel. I know. Is Lawrence, a lot of you guys have strong opinions. I understand that. Like, 9 times out of 10, you all don't like his opinions just because, like, he's been gone for so long, so things have changed. I get that. But this particular video, that shouldn't particularly matter. Last time I'm going to use that word. All right. So this one is kind of a follow up to the one that we did a week or 2 weeks ago, a week or two ago, of where he was doing showing British actors that played American roles, some of which I did not know they were British. So they're very, very good. This one is the flip of that. So it's rating good and terrible British accents by American actors. So obviously, I know the worst accent that an American did was Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins. I know that. I think it's really funny. I do love Dick Van Dyke. He's adorable little old man, but I absolutely get why you guys wouldn't like his accent in that movie. Only one that I know for sure, just because of the thumbnail of his video of who is in this one, is John Lithgow, and I don't know. I don't think I saw whatever movie he played a British person in. I do like John Lithgow though, but I will link this video in the description along with links to Patreon, how you can support the channel here on YouTube, and let's just go ahead and jump right in. Maybe. Oh, sorry guys. I had the volume off because of the video yesterday. Okay.
Hello, person. A few weeks ago, I made a video in which I rated good and terrible American accents by British actors. And the general sentiment at the time was, great, now do the reverse video. Indeed, after that first video was watched more than 500,000 times, our executives agreed with you all and demanded that I do a bloody sequel. So here it is. Basically, I'm about to rate British accents by American actors from very good to absolutely shit. But before I do that, if you are the sort of person who wants to learn the differences between British and American culture and you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, do that now!
Wow.
In the meantime, Dick Van Dyke.
All right, ladies and gents, comical poem, suitable for the occasion, extemporized and thought up before your very eyes. All right, here we go.
Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins is one of the most famous examples of an American actor doing a British accent badly. And I have three things to say about that. Firstly, it's true. Secondly, when I lived in Britain, I don't think I ever met a single British person who was offended by this accent. In fact, I think most of the time we see it as quite charming. It probably helps that it's the universally loved Dick Van Dyke. But that said, it doesn't stop me and Dick Van Dyke himself from saying that this is an absolutely abysmal attempt at a Cockney accent.
I mean, it was the worst Cockney accent ever done. The guy who taught me was an Irishman.
He's adorable, man.
For those not in the know, a Cockney accent is a regional working class accent usually associated with East London. It's actually an abysmal attempt at any accent. Half the time I don't really know what he's saying because it's like a confused combination of vowel sounds from many different dialects. For instance, it stands out to me the way he says the word go.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. There is not a single Londoner in London that would say it that way. If anything, it's close to perhaps how Scottish people might say that word. But Scotland is at the exact opposite end of Britain, and his accent here is just all round bad. So I think I'd have to give this 0 out of 10.
Hey, I got a question for you guys. So just nothing really to do with this video, but it is to do with Mary Poppins. So there was Mary Poppins, and then before that, kind of like a prequel, I think they were trying out the ideas, was Bedknobs and Broomsticks that had Angela Lansbury. If you guys have seen both of these movies, tell me which one that you prefer. For me, it's Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I love Mary Poppins. But Bedknobs, that was one of my grandmother's favorites. She loved Angela Lansbury. I love Angela Lansbury. My grandmother was a huge Murder, She Wrote fan. I've seen all the Murder, She Wrote episodes more than once. Probably more than twice. All of it. It's so sad when she died. But she was a treasure. But I love that. Actually, she was in Mary Poppins too. She was one of the maids. I think it was before Mary Poppins. But I've bought that movie 2 or 3 times just because, like, it's gotten lost, or like in one instance, it got left in a car and the car sold. And we just forgot about the DVD, so I had to buy it again. But my son was never into it. So it's we mostly just watch it for me at this point. But let me know if you've seen both, like which one that you prefer.
Of course, while I can forgive bad actors on screen, I'm not quite so tolerant of bad actors on the internet. Doing this job, I've discovered that there are hundreds of entities called data brokers, whose entire business model is collecting of yourself manually is possible, technically. Cogni's regular automated system. Setting it up was really easy, even I could do.
Lighters call ourselves.
All right.
In the pond. The link is in my description. Below.
Why, to what we lamplighters call ourselves, of course. Time to send up the call to arms. Learys, trip the lights and lead the way.
So they try to repeat the trick in the underrated Mary Poppins Returns with Lin-Manuel Miranda basically playing a Dick Van Dyke-like character in this film. And I have to say, I think his attempt at a Cockney accent is a step up from Dick Van Dyke. You can at least hear what he's saying. Like, he mostly is consistent, but he isn't always accurate. Listen to the way he says crowd.
Now say you're lost in the crowd. Well,
a good old Cockney boy is going to say crowd. I was lost in the crowd. I was lost in the crowd. This is really hard to do, actually. Also, when he says that's what us lamplighters call ourselves, notice how he says the word call.
Why, it's what we lamplighters call ourselves, of course.
So a Cockney isn't going to say call like that. I'll say, that's what us lamplighters call ourselves. So if I'm looking at that, that's a 3 out of 10.
You tossers! You had one job to do!
Hang on, are you accusing me of booby trapping?
Here we go.
Hey, is Danny about?
Yeah, he's waiting around the corner.
Oh, it's terrific. It'll be nice working with proper villains again.
If you knew nothing about Don Cheadle, you would at least know from this that he's not from London. It's not the worst. He certainly gets some of the vowel sounds down. And actually, when he utters the line, here we go, I was impressed that he dropped an H, which is a feature, traditionally, of Cockney English. But generally speaking, this attempt at a London accent, anyway, gives me the impression of somebody who had perhaps 6 hours to work with a dialect coach and was thrown in at the deep end. Is it better than Dick Van Dyke? Yes. Is it better than Lin-Manuel Miranda? It's sort of on that level. So Don, Mr. Cheadle, you also get 3 out of 10.
I don't think this is going to be on here because she wasn't like playing a role. But are you guys familiar with? Have you ever seen Maggie Smith on the Carol Burnett show, like trying to teach Carol Cockney? They're both really young, and it is like one of the funniest videos. Maggie Smith is a riot. Of course, Carol Burnett is a riot, but like those two together and then trying to, I think, half as genuinely trying to like teach an accent and try it is amazing. If I can find a video of it and it lets me do it without it being a copyright, it might, because that Carol Burnett stuff is protected pretty well, I think. I'll post it, but if you haven't seen it, like, absolutely go check it out. It is worth watching.
Oi! Oi! Mike's not
My mom loves these movies.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of Kafka's Motorbike, the greatest book of our time.
You know, it's only now, watching it years after this film came out, that Renée Zellweger's accent in this vaguely reminded me of just any English children's TV presenter. Unlike in the past, those presenters no longer speak with the Queen's English, but they do tend to have quite posh-ish accents with regionalisms creeping in. In other words, she's hit on something here that I think most American actors do not, in that she sounds conversational in that accent, as opposed to always formal or always badly Cockney. And I remember this very well. When the film first came out in Britain, most people at first didn't know she was American, much less that Renée Zellweger speaks with a Texas drawl.
He's competitive, guys.
Y'all seen
Yeah,
him,
I think
right?
she
And
did
her
okay in
accent is
it.
one
It's
of
been a
those
long
that's
time
always
since I
held
watched
up as a
it.
fine example of an American expertly doing a British accent. So for that, Renée Zellweger, you get 10 out of 10.
I had a crush on you. Yeah, ridiculous, I know. I couldn't believe it. What have you got
She's
to say to
good.
that?
Well, I already knew.
What do you mean you knew?
So the untrained ear, Anne Hathaway, not to be confused with Shakespeare's wife of the same name, is doing a passable, generic British accent and shouldn't be critiqued too harshly. However, the character that she's playing is supposed to be from the county of Yorkshire. And I know from reading around that Anne Hathaway was attempting to do a Yorkshire accent through this film. You can even detect it when she says,
What have you got to say to that?
what have you got to say to that? Because in Yorkshire, the word say as say. This is the only instance in this entire clip where anything remotely Yorkshire comes out of Anne Hathaway's mouth, because she seems to take the comfortable option of reverting back to almost received pronunciation.
I had a crush on you.
Instead of, I had a crush on you. I'm not saying she should do it that deeply. So I think Anne Hathaway, in this sense, and this sense only, is a 4 out of 10.
I know. You'd almost forgotten I work here, but I swear I was up all night toying with ideas for the fashion show, and I've really hit on something. You see, what? I took 4 bottles of vodka on Friday. It was my birthday, you know that.
Even though Gwyneth Paltrow is, in some people's words, a little out of touch, she is not out of touch with how to do accents. I watched this film when it came out in 1998, and one thing that really surprised me in a good way about her accent, she used glottal stops. What's a glottal stop, Lawrence? Well, I'm glad you asked, because a glottal stop is... I'm going to stop doing that accent now. It's a linguistic phenomenon that's very common in British English, in which sounds like the letter T are replaced in the middle or at the end of a word with an abrupt silent consonant. You can hear Gwyneth Paltrow do this on...
Didn't she, like,
and...
spend a lot of
And
time there? I
also-
mean, I
You know
know
that.
she
And
married...
from what I can recall, she retains this
Chris
consistently throughout the
from
film, as well as
Coldplay.
other features. There were
But didn't she live in the UK like a lot when she was like, I could be wrong. I know her mom's Black Danner, who I love. Like her mom more than her. Oh. But I want to say she spent a lot of time over there, even prior to marrying him. I could be wrong. But she does do a really good British accent. Didn't she do one as well as like Shakespeare in Love?
maybe just 1 or 2 times throughout the film where a hint of her American accent comes through, but not enough to detract from what is a good accent. So I think we'll give Gwyneth 9 out of 10.
So many things that I, as Prime Minister, am prepared to inflict on your subjects as a reward
Oh.
for winning a world war and prevailing over fascism,
I need to watch
evil,
The Crown.
and tyranny.
When I first watched The Crown, it was not lost on me that, oh, here is the British Prime Minister, played by an American actor, John Lithgow. And now, fans of the Harry Potter series are about to have sort of a similar feeling with the very same actor who's just been cast as Dumbledore. And for context Americans, that would be like if Benedict Cumberbatch played John McClane in Die Hard. Except here, playing Winston Churchill, John Lithgow actually pulls it off, which means, I suspect, he will actually do a great job as Dumbledore. But why does he do so well as Winston Churchill? Well, firstly, he's not just got any kind of British cadence down, he's got that Churchillian cadence down. The educated but bumbling accent that seems to be a feature of several of our prime ministers.
In the unceasing and relentless waging of war,
As a reward for winning a world war.
And I remember after a while of watching his scenes in The Crown, I stopped thinking of him as American actor John Lithgow and viewed him simply as Winston Churchill. So I think that's a sign of not just a
I
good
like John
accent, but very
Lithgow.
good acting. And for that, John Lithgow, we'll give you a 10 out of 10.
They got armor, Paul? Even this boy can be taught to find the chinks in every suit of armor.
Yeah, but what about our kids? Should have taken all they got too.
And by God, we take it back.
I'm not ashamed to admit, I absolutely loved this film in
I've
1991,
never seen
and
it.
this particular scene used to get me very patriotic. The question is, patriotic for which country? Because
Yeah, he doesn't
I would say
sound
that Kevin
British at
Costner's
all.
accent in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is comprised of about 1% English and 99% Californian. And you might think, well, you know, back then nobody spoke like we do today. What does it matter if he doesn't have an English accent? And I would say to that, fair point. I'm not against the idea of somebody just owning an American accent in a role like this, so long as they're consistent. There were moments, I don't know if you noticed them, in this very scene, when he thought, you know what, on this word, I'm bringing the Englishness. For example,
Even this boy can be taught to find the chinks in every suit of armor.
he says suit instead of suit, and his intonation, I think, is an attempt at what he perceives to be British intonation. Suit of armour, but he puts an R on the end. So as much as I adore this stupid little film, and as much as I quite like his performance in it, Kevin Costner, you get a 0 out of 10.
Yeah, that's
Men are born to die. We know it. We carry it with us always. If your day be today.
The dog's barking again. This is not the first time my dog has barked at Timothée Chalamet.
What matters is that you know in your hearts that today you are that kingdom united. You are England. Each and every one of you. England is you.
I think that's what
He's
Kevin Costner
good.
thinks he sounds like. And I think that Timothée Chalamet probably
Did you see him as
studied
Bob
the
Dylan?
speech
He did
patterns
such a good
of
job.
20th century royals like the Queen. And the reason I say that is the way he pronounces England.
You England is you.
England, I could imagine the Queen saying that during one of her Christmas speeches, just without the yelling. On the one hand, there's something good as an actor when you've got emotion to deliver along with the accent, because if you get it right, people think you're an amazing actor. If you get it wrong, you end up looking like a bit of a prat. Thankfully for Mr. Chalamet, he does a good job here. The biggest compliment that I could give to him is watching this, I could quite easily mistake him for a BBC period drama actor. And his films only go to prove that King Henry V sounded nothing like Bob Dylan.
Make it England.
So I think it'd be fair to give him 9 out of 10. And you might say, Lawrence, you just said he sounds like a BBC actor. What more does he need to do? And I did say that. I just can't shake this nagging feeling that he also sounds like Elijah Wood as Frodo Baggins, especially when he's yelling. And this has got me second guessing myself, because Elijah Wood is also an American actor who's doing a British accent even though he's a hobbit. And it's got me wondering, are there parts of their speech that are coming through that are slightly American that I'm not quite sure how to detect? Or is it just coincidence? I slept on this overnight and I realised it's definitely not coincidence. See, both of them are basically good at received pronunciation, or the Queen's English, but both also have a habit of occasionally uttering sounds where I genuinely can't tell if it's a calculated quirk of their English accent or an unwanted contribution from their natural accent. An example of this is where Frodo exclaims, "Get off the road!"
Get off the road.
His pronunciation includes an instance of T flapping, where the T in words like get become a D sound. T flapping is of course highly common in American English, where words like city, better and butter often become city, better and butter. On the other hand, thanks to the influence of Australian and American media, T flapping has been steadily on the rise in Britain too.
He's been the captain for a long time now at City.
All that to say, I am willing to give Chalamet or Wood the benefit of the doubt. And so that's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments some of the actors that I forgot about or didn't have time to watch. And in the meantime, here is me rating good and terrible American accents by British actors. You'll watch that video next. And in the meantime, goodbye.
See, that wasn't bad. I was trying to think of like some other actors that you could have included in this one. I don't know. Who's some other American actor? You guys got to tell me in the comments, like what that wasn't mentioned in this video. Like, what's an American actor that you think did a terrible job on a British accent, or one that did like a really, really good job? I'm trying to think of there is. No, I think she did French. I recently watched a video. It's a girl who's French. She speaks like 4 or 5 different languages, and she does an excellent job. I think she dates an American. But she did a video similar to this where she was talking about American actors that speak French and play in French roles. And of course, like Jodie Foster was on it, but I try to think. I've got it confused with the French and the British. I don't know, y'all. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Y'all do it. Y'all let me know in the comments who is an American that does a good British accent. Tell me the movie or show, and then the same with one that is bad, which I'm sure you'll have plenty to pick from. That Kevin Costner one blew me away. I've never watched that movie. I know it's a hugely popular movie. My mom probably still loves Kevin Costner, but that just wasn't one that was in. It wasn't one that we watched a lot, or she watched a lot that I remember. She definitely watched all of Yellowstone, and I remember like The Bodyguard being a big one. Him and Whitney. Whitney was amazing, but man, that was bad. That was a really bad accent. Uh, yeah. Let me know your all's thoughts in the comments if you made it through this long. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Have an awesome day, guys. I'll catch you tomorrow.